Hello, and welcome to New England L5R. This is the second and hopefully long-running video series of reviews for games from our Discord League. I am Luis. With me is my co-host and pal, Erik.
What's up, everybody?
And our guest for today, Ian.
Hey, how you doing?
So Ian is a Scorpion player. He's
Very good Scorpion player.
Yeah, fantastic player. A strange style of play, I'll say. You play Scorpion different than most people I see, but you play it very, very well.
Well, that's why I think I've found the success I have is because people expect me to play like other Scorpions, and then they play around a deck that I'm not playing, which makes it easier to win.
You actually break stuff.
Yes, that is how you win, is by conquest.
Luis brought you in here just to trigger me.
I did not do that at all. All right. So today our game is game between Mike and Erik. Mike is a really good local Phoenix player, and Erik, of course, is a Scorpion player.
Mm.
I like how you left out the good part. All right.
What's the good part?
Yeah.
Should I say that you're good?
Nah, hit it.
I shouldn't. Erik sucks. Yep. Especially on Jingoku. Terrible. So
For sure.
Big brain.
I definitely make a couple mistakes in this game just because it's not in paper.
Yeah. Ignore the fact that the video had audio there for a second. We're good. I muted it.
And at the end of this game, I accidentally pass when I'm not supposed to pass, and we kind of manual mode the conflict, and he ends up conceding at the end because I explained to him what I'm doing.
They played it by ear.
I kind of fuck up the end of the game, but it's still a good game, I think. I think this was actually a really good game.
Yeah, good job spoiling the end, dude. Now everybody's gonna leave.
Fuck. Yeah, that was stupid.
I'm just fucking.
Whatever, we'll fix it in post.
Yeah,
We'll just
we'll edit
bleep
that out
out,
on the YouTube.
and everyone reference it like he went on like a 30-second tirade of swearing at things.
Yeah, I said a bunch of racial things. It was really awkward. We'll cut all that out.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's just cut this out now. So, looks like Mike ended up getting the first player token, that poor soul.
So, Ian, tell me... Pause it here.
Let's look at this flop.
Yeah.
He bought, I apologize, but let's look at the flop at least.
No, it's fine.
What are you looking for on your first flop, your first hand?
Well, as a Scorpion, I always like to have Forged Edict live just because it kind of forces my opponent to play around it. So having a low glory courtier is great.
One of the big problems for this flop, I mulliganed 3 cards. The only thing I kept was Satoshi because I wanted it for turn 2, and that's what I got for my other 3 cards. Very bad opening flop.
Well, Soshi Illusionist is not the worst card you could have picked up. He's, a cheap body with
Relevant text.
Yeah, relevant text and good stats for his cost. Not the best turn 1, but it's okay. That's probably what I would have bought here. I feel like with such a small board size, Covert is less relevant on the lizard guy, and Satoshi is I think he's just expensive enough to be awkward to buy turn 1.
Totally.
Yep.
So,
like I said, I really wanted him just for turn 2.
Right. That's probably about right. I like the Phoenix flop a lot more, though. You've got that.
It's a nice one.
Yeah. You've got the old 1 Fate 3/3. That's always a good thing to see.
Oh,
Pretty
sure.
much
Dim
at all
Shigen is a
stages
good
of the game.
card.
Yeah.
So I am surprised he bought the Adept of the Waves, though. Like I said, Covert's a bit less relevant in what was I saying? In a small board size, like you see at the beginning of the game.
Right.
And
that 2 glory against the Scorpion player is...
It
bit of a
also doesn't
liability.
help anything against the Zokujin's covert. So it really isn't accomplishing much besides maybe letting... I mean, it's going to let him get a free water ring, I guess, but
Right.
For sure.
you're just smart enough to fade a guy.
I feel like buying just Dreamer or Dreamer Scholar is good, but
I
think
I
just
think
Dreamer's
Dreamer first is the correct play
for sure.
because you can stop there, but the one argument I see for going for the Adept is you want to have multiple bodies to capitalize on multiple conflicts turn 1, especially if you have the luxury of flipping multiple cheap characters. And with the possibility of facing a Zokujin, the Scholar is less likely to turn on.
Yep.
So that's a reasonable reason to pick up the slightly larger body in the Adept.
I think he's gonna go. I mean, he's obviously gonna buy a streamer here, and then he's probably got Fish Boy in hand. I actually don't recall. Like, I recorded this, and I don't recall how it went.
Well,
I
even
do
if he
remember,
doesn't,
but I
he's-
won't say anything.
Yeah, let's see what
even if
Erik
he doesn't
bought.
have, he's gonna draw 5 more cards. So
For sure.
Yeah.
the threat of having Fish Guy is pretty good.
Oh, he's gonna draw 6. He's got a library flop, but let's see.
Oh,
Let's see
that's
how
a
this
good
goes.
point. Yep.
Yeah, the icing on the cake is the library too.
Oh, you know what? Let me speed this up. Again, technical
Yeah.
difficulties because I'm a big
This
dummy.
was not the quickest game.
Yep. Speed. Yeah, I just do it once because I'm fucking spooked. I don't know how it works.
That's fine.
Okay, so Illusionist is the buy. Wow, he went.
Yeah,
all
and
out.
then
This
I
is a
get
lot-
I get
this is
an
a heavy
early
investment.
pass. I get a pass and he goes all in, which I was surprised.
I'm not sure I
don't
like it.
I don't think he's gonna get really value out of the third, like unless he wants to defend. But I don't think he's gonna win a political conflict with like, unless for some reason you attack the ring he names with Dreamer.
So maybe he wants to start with.
Well,
all
he's
out
going
aggression
first,
here
so probably
and still have a
he's going to
defender
get
to
a
stop
streamer,
honor
right?
hemorrhaging.
Hmm.
Like he could swing 2 conflicts here, and have one to defend the potential like drop bears or whatever the case may be.
That makes sense. That's a good time to find Pilgrimage.
He runs face first into Pilgrimage, coverting my guy, and it's water, and he named water on,
Yeah.
Hmm.
and it's military. So I'm like honestly in a rough spot here.
Yeah.
I
Fish
pass
Boy,
and
of
he
course.
plays an Ingo.
100%
And
of the
now
time, every time.
this is the first time where I go into the tank for honestly a bit.
Right, because I guess you're thinking he's showing a force of 6. You could, like, I'm guessing favorable ground your illusionist in there and straight throwing codes at the problem.
That
But-
doesn't stop a break.
It not on its own. Like if you've got like a bonsai or something, you need a guy
Yeah.
in there to stop the break. So, I mean, it kind of sucks to lose Pilgrimage like first conflict like this, but like the water ring does not matter.
Right.
So I suspect that letting this go is okay. But that's just because it's going to be so expensive to try and stop it. Yeah, I can see the logic of that assassination.
Yeah, excuse my again. There's gonna be random fiddling
I'll-
because I was trying to.
I'll
figure
lose
this out.
4 honor. I'll lose 4 honor here to not lose a province.
It's fair.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, the issue at this point, though, is like it's a matter of how many cards do you want to trade, and like not seeing the hands. It's hard to say how many tricks you do have to throw around,
Mhm.
but you're playing Scorpion, so it's probably a safe bet that you have more than him.
It's a good amount.
Wow, Luis, you're going ham right now.
I know. It took me a while to get this right, and you'll see me do it intermittently throughout the VOD.
Well,
but I
that's
definitely
like
have
just
it
the
on hand
ripping
next
of the
time.
water ring is what
Yeah.
that is. That's editing for effect. That's deliberate.
It's the mantis. He's role playing as a mantis.
Yeah.
We're on the waves right
On
now.
the waves. That's Yoritomo's fighting style, baby.
Oh, I pass again, and he supernatural storms to get back to Burning. And then I go into the tank again.
Yeah.
Yeah, because
The hyperbolic brain chamber, dude.
well, like the Ninja's, like you pretty much need a bow effect to stop him at this point, since or that you could like drop a character in there.
And he
Ooh,
sure
that
does.
is-
And I
And
I
that's a
go.
decision.
Yeah, I've committed to this line of play. I have a line in play. Hopefully you'll understand where I'm coming from, Ian. And then he against the waves to bow my
hurts
guy,
there.
which was, yeah, it really hurt. But
Hmm.
You know, for all the fate he spent early on, you know, like for going as aggressive as he did, it did really force your hand quite a bit. So it's not like he played it
no, he put on a
like
lot
it
of
ended up
pressure.
very well. Yeah, it ended up just fine for him.
Made me spend all my money turn 1, which you want
Right,
to do.
so-
Yeah.
yeah.
If you could force
So
Scorpion
he
to not have the
basically knows
economy
it's safe to
advantage.
do whatever he wants to you for the rest of the turn, which is going to amount to 1 conflict. But walking into the next turn with favor is a good place for Phoenix to be.
I'm gonna assume he goes for the Void Ring, wants to get the Shugenja off the board.
Hmm. Really, I'd hit Kachiko, just because like the fate on her is so much more valuable.
The fate on her is more valuable. I think just seeing the flop currently, like if Erik doesn't ditch stuff, which I do have the feeling he'll discard one of these, but there's no Shugenja showing, so if he can get rid of the Shugenja now, he at least sets up his next turn and not have to worry about playing a 4-drop with 3 fate and then immediately getting clouded.
Hmm.
But I mean that's just kind of what I feel he might be going for. If he takes a fate off the Gachiko, it's certainly not wrong.
Right.
So
Well,
I pull in Kachiko with the favorable ground and send his guy home. I just forfeit the favor, but save all my other resources.
Right.
Oh, yeah, that was a good play. It was a misstep on his part to not throw both guys in there because there's no way you
Right.
can claim. So he doesn't really need to stand for glory. And that is a tiny favor card.
Sure is.
I throw away everything.
Mm.
I expected you to keep the Zokujin and discard the Satoshi.
I'm not gonna have the money to play him for
Yeah.
multiple turns.
That's what I was thinking. Like you had to expend so much resources there. You got a pretty decent flop here, though. I mean, I would say amazing.
Yeah, I'm really happy.
Yeah, it's pretty much all you could ask for.
Mm.
I have another Shugenja for next turn after this one dies.
Hmm.
Mm.
I get to play a 1-drop and pass.
Sure, sure.
Mike goes hard in on Kudaka here, and then you can see he one-bids me, and now I'm surprised, a little confused, and a little afraid, but not super afraid.
Well, this is the point where you find out that he's like running some kind of dishonor deck, which, this is like maybe the only matchup where, I guess like Crab's the other deck that could run Conquest or Dishonor, but I think if Phoenix is trying to Dishonor, they're in for like a really uphill battle because the Scorpion
Yeah.
box is just gonna crawl them out of the hole every turn, and Phoenix really can't Dishonor quickly. They're more of a grindy Dishonor deck.
I don't think he's trying to dishonor me outright. I think he's trying to put on some pressure, but
Right.
I think he really dug himself into a hole with this one.
Yeah,
I
like, as a
absolutely
Scorpion,
agree.
if I'm at 5 honor, I am not.
Yeah,
feeling
I
like
don't.
that
Yeah,
guy.
I'm fine.
If anything, all that does is set you up to continue to Kodo him for the next like X amount of rounds.
The rest of the game. Yeah.
Yeah. Like I think I get what he was going for, but there's just not a world in which that dishonor pressure matters when you're facing Phoenix.
Kodo
Like,
is
Phoenix
City the
can't
Open
do it.
Hand for people who don't know.
Yeah, my apologies. But again, there's just even if it was in an attempt to pressure, and with all due respect to him as a player, there's not a world where Phoenix can pressure that dishonor against Scorpion. It doesn't happen. Even Keeper,
So
he could have 3 backhanded compliments in hand, and that pressure still doesn't matter.
So the Meek Informant reveals that he's actually running Dragon Splash, which
Yeah.
he's getting more pumps out of it, which is good. But those 2 let goes in his hand are dead, which is
Yep.
pretty bad. It also means he doesn't have Soul Beyond Reproach, which I guess he's running the water roll anyway, so that wasn't on the table.
Right.
Um,
He's just running pure aggro, which is kind of why I'm surprised he bid one.
Right. Exactly.
Like Hurricane
It was
Punch is
weird. It was a
indicative
little
of Travis
confusing
Lips.
before. It was a little confusing before, but once you see his hand, you should be very confused
Right.
because he needs those cards.
Yeah, no, exactly. And his cards aren't exactly like powerhouse conflict winners right now.
They're all incrementally efficient.
I go Void here just to take it off the table to keep my Kachiko alive.
Yeah.
Oh,
And
that's
he
absolutely
lets,
the
he
right
lets me
call.
have it.
Which,
He could be hedging his bets on Kyud Nisawa getting value this turn. Like, I think he has an Against the Waves in the discard, so that's okay.
he does.
Yeah, he against the waves my
Yeah,
Shugenja.
losing his last turn. So
I
he
know
could do it again. I mean, it's
he's
probably
useless.
yeah.
Well, I feel like attacking Pilgrimage is kind of like risky.
It's a
like
tall
he's
order.
going for the air ring because he's. I mean, I think he. I look at the one bid. I can't shake the feeling that he's trying to honor you, or
I
at
felt the
least
same way.
pressure you. But going for Pilgrimage basically means that, like, there's a huge chance the only value he gets out of the air ring is a Kudaka trigger, and that feels like it's really not playing into that.
What was he so afraid of in row? Is my secret cache, yes, but it's like he's not advancing his game state by going for pilgrimage here. Secret cache at least makes the effort to advance your game state because you have potential to claim a ring at all. We've seen his hand. His hand doesn't allow him to win this.
That's another reason why you could have also attacked upholding if you didn't want to risk flipping a province.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
I send home Kadaka, and he stands it with against.
I don't know why he doesn't have any way to get her back into the conflict. I don't know what his hurry is to.
Well, he did it during the conflict because you have to with.
Kyudnisawa must be conflict.
Yeah, that makes sense.
That card would be so crazy if it wasn't. It's already crazy.
Can you pause here?
Yeah. Paused.
So this was a contentious bit here, and I think it might have been a bad play, but I felt a little pressure in the game. I court games here and honor my liar instead of Kachiko. And all three of us were in voice chat while we were playing the game, and they were confused by it, and I just wanted to stay at above 3, and I know I'm at 5 right now, but he dishonored the Meek, and I was just a little nervous, and I wanted to be able to trigger something that has a dishonor cost and not lose another honor.
Okay.
My question there, what I said was how can Phoenix? You chose to honor the liar instead of Kachiko, but what cards does Phoenix have that would target and dishonor Kachiko anyways?
I'm worried about lowering my strength by 3 and him raising his strength.
I mean, she would have just you gain nothing from this, right? From the Bayushi liar because
I gain something from this because if he dies this turn, when he dies this turn, it will also cancel out the dishonor from me.
I guess.
Right. You haven't used the illusionist yet this turn.
Yes, I did.
You?
Yeah.
Oh.
I used to take the dishonor off.
I figured you were just giving yourself a way to hedge your bets for Forged, but I guess the idea is if he doesn't force you to use Forged, then you do get the honor regardless.
Then I get an honor right away. Right. That was my point because I don't need the extra 3 force. And looking back on it, it probably wasn't right, but that's what I was thinking.
Yeah. The thought makes sense.
I was just a little nervous, and I was because he's clearly going very hard trying to dishonor me here. He's playing Kadaka, he's attacking the air ring, he's one bidding, so I was a little nervous.
It's weird because I feel like, not to fucking play Dr. Phil with your psyche, but it's weird that you would get nervous in this situation because it seems like right now you're walking on air. It's a really good position to be in.
I don't know.
Were you really concerned about triple backhanded after seeing his hand?
Look at this with very calm minds.
Right, yeah, it's much easier to look back at the game now and realize it probably wasn't correct, but I was just
and I guess even when I was watching it, it's
a way to think about it is how do I lose this game right now because I'm super far ahead, accidentally being dishonored out.
All right, let's get this playing again, see how this goes.
Yeah.
I do get
it's totally irrelevant because I forged Edict his clarity of purpose here anyway.
Yeah, it was just, again, in the off chance he didn't force you to use that Forge Edict, you do negate that Dishonored Meek Informant. It was very weird that he used the court games on the Meek Informant there. I feel like he could have got a lot more value out of it.
That also made me very nervous.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, the whole point of it was the Meek Informant is leaving. I don't know.
So he was really trying to pressure me.
Yeah,
so
it's that again, it's leaving, but it's just damn. I mean,
it was wild.
You saw his hand, which is why I was more because it's not just you knowing what he has, but he knows that you know that. So it's not like he's bluffing I've got 3 backhanded, I'm playing Scorpion. You saw his Dragon Splash.
At 5, I go to 4 at the end of the turn. If he can get an unopposed Fire Ring, I'm at 2.
Yeah, that's a bit lower.
I suppose there's a world, although we do have to factor in City the open hand as well. It's always going to be the great equalizer.
Now he has another Against the Waves out of hand to bow my last guy.
So, your being scared was pretty warranted. Good old Goblin Sneak.
Yep. Taking that second money that he had.
You see me mouse over the Goblin Sneak there to see if it does look like the child.
and I'm contesting Water Ring to make him either have to block or I get to stand my cut.
Right, right. And, having the Glory is great. Having a Defender is great. Water was probably the right call there.
Here you see me finally, like, actually adjust properly.
We did it.
Yeah.
He blocks, we both pass. He gains the money off keeper, but I bow his guy.
Hmm.
I'm still adjusting.
Man, I always forget that if Jigoku didn't prompt you, like keeper might as well be blank because like it
Well,
comes
us as
off-
Scorpion players, we've
Sure,
only
sure.
played Seeker.
Yeah, I'm used to
See,
Seeker.
As a
but-
keeper player, like playing keeper crab for so long, I've heard people say the same even while playing the clan. But for me, I remember it every time because I'm so fucking desperate to get any value out of my role other than the keeper initiates. And don't get me wrong, keeper initiates and cards like Talisman are fantastic, but you gotta remember your keeper fate. It's so rare and it's such an important thing.
So, I like the manipulator here because you're probably not gonna bid very high, like at full honor, but you might, and it makes it that much harder for him to bid cheekily.
Right.
It lets you scout.
I assumed we were both gonna one bid,
Mm-hmm.
but if he bid higher, I can up my bid to get some cards to keep up with him.
Right.
And if we both one bid, like that's also I can just go to 2 and then box.
Yeah, and manipulator is also
Sure.
just a cheap courtier that isn't 3 glory.
Yeah, and it's a courtier. Yeah. So he
Oh,
goes 3.
really?
I go up to 2.
Yep.
Hmm.
So immediately the manipulator pays dividends.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
And again, Kodo pretty much takes you out of contention for being dishonored at this point. I don't think there's not many lines of play with Dragon
Yeah.
Splash that he could attempt to even dishonor you anymore.
It's now 6 to 10. I have a board and I'm super confident.
Hmm.
You also have a solid economic lead.
Hmm.
2 cards on him, 3 fate. I'd say roughly better board state. At least for this
My board-
round for sure.
my board-
but
yeah,
your
my
board
board's
isn't
gonna
bad,
die.
period.
Hmm.
Regardless.
I think at this point he has to swing fire, which he does just because, like, 2 money.
Money,
how do
money,
you
money,
say no to
money.
that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I mean, dishonoring Kachiko is
Man,
such good
he's-
value, but he goes for
He's,
pilgrimage.
he's running into
He's
pilgrimage again.
so scared of
Flipping anything.
yeah. At
But,
this
I mean,
point,
like, even if he's
just go to
afraid of
upholding authority.
like,
Right.
he could throw like the Adept of the Waves at upholding authority, where like he's never gonna break if he's afraid of that, and like you've either got to defend with like 3 characters or Kachiko, like if you want to stop the ring, and either way that's a win for him. So,
We've
I
also-
think this was,
Again, seeing his hand, like there's not much in there that upholding authority is going to cripple him.
He's
I don't know
drawn
if
4
he
cards
really
since then.
wants to keep those let goes. Yeah, but even last turn, like he just refused to attack it.
This sucks.
Yeah,
ah,
Hawk Tattoo
well,
is a great card. Let's just leave that one. I mean, people know what it is.
It's pretty high impact.
It's busted, but people know the deal, so no reason to dwell. That does suck getting
Sure.
hit by it though. That's pretty major. Pretty major.
hmm.
You see me adjust again for the final time.
Oh, what happened here? Oh,
Don't
whoa!
worry, this
Well, I
happens
mean,
like
that's
for
how
maybe
broken,
20
like, Hawk
seconds.
Tattoo it is. It pulls you right out of
Yeah.
the game.
Yeah,
Um,
that's exactly
Louis
what
saw
happened
the
there.
Hawk Tattoo and was like, I don't want to
Yeah,
watch it.
I accidentally tabbed out. I came back. Kachiko's bowed. I'm like, all right, dude. That's how the game is.
Yeah.
Thanks, FFG. Fuck you. But no big deal.
Even though like on paper Eric won that conflict and got the ring,
I
like
lost.
tempo wise, yeah, like the board
Yeah.
state is like so much more in the Phoenix's favor.
It
here.
absolutely warps the game. In
Hmm.
a position where Erik was looking very strong, it completely changes how the turn plays out.
Mm.
Because now I'm like, do I go water to try and stand my Kachiko up? There's no way I'm winning. Then he gets another Keeper Fate, and he gets to honor Suki. So I guess I'm just taking 2 money off the Earth Ring, being happy with that.
Probably
I
the
mean,
call.
it's pretty nice, to be fair. 2 money off the Earth Ring is something I'll take any day.
I mean, I
of the
had
week.
to do it just so he doesn't get it.
Yeah, of
Right.
course. It's also 2 money.
He attempts to display, and I have the censure.
Yeah, it's
Very
about the
unfortunate.
exchange you
Hitting let
expect.
go's a pretty bad
It's
hit.
really hard to resolve those important cards against a Scorpion with the favor.
Yep.
Um,
And I do unfortunately hit a let go, which I was very sad.
Yeah. It could be. Actually, no, it probably couldn't be worse. It's probably the single worst card to hit in his entire
Yeah,
conflict.
it gives me no more new information. I just scratch one, let go off of my little notepad. Wow.
Yeah. And like, there's not even a juicy cloud target right now. Atsuko's not going to get him enough value. He's going to ditch that. Nothing's going to come up right now that's going to hurt you too much. I believe your conflict discard doesn't have your highest impact cards in it yet, besides 4G to Concenture. But
Man,
it doesn't have
conflict
like a fate worse than
characters,
death, so even Tadaka
Like
doesn't
really
kill you.
good. You think for just a second, man, what a great time to hit Shameful Display, and
Right.
then no, I'm gonna get a 4/4 swing out of it.
Yep. Yeah.
Like why even
Ancient
bother with
Master,
the fan?
another problem card, but you know it is what it is.
I think he
Oh.
bothers with the fan because he's going to Benten's here. Yeah.
Right, well, that works out, but
But he forgets he's playing Scorpion and that we're in a political.
so on the one hand, like hitting a 2-size body with like one fate for the fate worse than death, like it looks bad
You
on
have to
paper
look at the
economically,
investment.
but the fact that you're like winning a conflict that would have given him like a body for the next conflict is really valuable. So
Not only did you deny him the body, but I mean he invested a fan and a Benton's touch into that. It's just an effort to win. So the fate worse than death, it might not be the juiciest target, but all things considered, it becomes quite appetizing.
And
absolutely,
there
But
are
compared to
some
not
points.
playing it, definitely the right call to play it.
It was more tempo than value.
It
Sure.
established both in a pretty good way, I think.
Sure. And I get to wipe his board with a last second Earth.
Which
Or
at
last
this
second
point, I think, I'm not sure how many more rounds it lasts, but I feel like that's the nail in the coffin, or at least the big swing turn. Like that blows the game wide open. His board clears.
Well,
you still have an illusionist
it
on
was like-
board, and it's not like you're crushing. But
I don't think he's out of the game.
Yeah, I mean, there's,
Scorpion
like,
just
you're
takes such
within
good
2
advantage
thirds
of
each other.
incremental value.
Like
Yes.
you're gonna end this and be within 1 honor of each other.
Right.
Like nobody's broken any provinces. Like it could still go either way. Like if you look at this board and think that Scorpion has a massive advantage, like
I feel
the
ahead.
board is a
That's
minor
it.
advantage. Like any
I
other
feel
advantage is
ahead.
just the factions you chose.
And I feel that outside of really fringe flops on either end of the spectrum, that
Pause
this
it here?
game is pretty much a wash. Paused.
What do you do as the Phoenix player?
Feel
So-
pretty bad.
Besides that.
I feel really good that you played one of your fates last turn.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
This is just an unfortunate flop for Mike.
So what I think I do is Prodigy is if anybody claimed the Water Ring, right?
Correct. It's just if the Water Ring is claimed.
Right. So what I think you do is maybe
You're
a
going
mistake.
second.
You
keep
know
in
you're
mind.
going.
Yeah.
Sure. I think I buy You either buy one Prodigy with like a stack of 2 to 3 Fate, or you buy both Prodigies with 1 Fate each.
Wow. Okay.
I feel like
Oh.
you buy one with a stack of 2 or 3, or if he was feeling ultra fucking spicy, he just hemorrhages like 3 honor this turn. But
What, just pass and like take it on the chin?
it depends what his hand is, and I know Phoenix doesn't have good conflict character drops, so
I
it's-
think there is no way in hell you can play 2 4-drops with 1 fate each on them against Scorpion.
yeah. I mean, at that point, you're begging to get hit by the second Fate Worse than Death and the Void Ring, and then you just lose the game 100% of the time.
I guess,
It's a line of
but
play.
I feel like you need to like establish as much board presence as you can to not be run over here. And you know, maybe I'm looking at like too much of the
I
best
think you're
case
looking like
scenario.
a conquest, right?
I'm buying Prodigy
he's not
with
really gonna
like
get run.
4 fate.
I would buy Prodigy with 3 here, and then just
At
play
least
the turn as
3.
defensively as I could.
Yes.
Well, he does have a let go, so having
Yeah.
So getting clouded immediately is not the end of the world.
I was gonna
but-
say he's seen 1 Fate Worse than Death, but he hasn't seen a single cloud yet. So for all we know, Erik has 2 in hand, let alone just 1. I'm not sure what his list is. I assume he's running 3.
And obviously, you pass your first conflict. You try not to defend their first conflict and just defend the second.
Him being second player here is also another kind of backbreaking circumstance.
I don't know about that. I feel like
if I was a Phoenix player, I'd go full turtle right now just to get through this turn.
sure, but I mean, if you've got a prodigy on the board, I feel like you want to at least like make a token effort of swinging at the water ring.
All right, let's play it out.
All right, let's
Sure.
Keep going.
see how it goes.
Keep talking, just play it.
2 libraries
well,
on
the
board,
thing
though,
is
is
'cause-
really fucking nice.
Like, it's good text, and you know, if it forces a defense, like great. If it doesn't, I mean, that's, you know, you're still getting one glory and standing up anyway. And if the Scorpion player has the fate, they're gonna resolve it if you if you attack or if you defend. So you might as well
Right, you have to play
No,
into
you
it.
might as
you
well
just you just
try,
have to force them to have it. I think this is
I
the
was-
worst possible line
I
to
was
play.
totally. Well, that's why I was shocked that Ian actually said that's an option because I was blown away that he.
what I think
Speaking,
yeah, because I mean, they basically have he's got 2 characters that key off of the same effect. So
Yeah.
if he can make that happen, then
But it's 100% hinging on you dodging Fate Worst. That I'm not drawing.
Absolutely it is. But
Yeah.
but I mean, that's the way back into this game that I see for the
Okay.
Phoenix player. And if you play
I
around
can see that.
yeah, so
it's like at this point you have to force
you've
them to
got
either have the
option
card
of,
or
like,
not.
taking risks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And maybe losing quickly or maybe winning, or the option of not taking risks and losing slowly.
Right.
I
It's
can
like
see
playing
that.
to win versus playing not to lose. You always play to win. If you play not to lose, you're going to
Sure.
lose. So my question here is, I mean, obviously manipulator by, right? But your honor at the start of this was, what, 6, 7? I think
It was
6.
6 to 7.
Right.
So
So
6 to 7 before bids, and
you
I
see
2 bid.
2
and then-
libraries. I assume you're
house.
still worrying about the potential of him just 1-bidding you, and so you bid low still. I can't say I'm a Scorpion player, but I feel like I would have bid 3 or 4 there and just been able to resolve Kodo for another couple turns for sure.
I think
Especially
it's
against
kind
his
of a
board state, he needs to go
I
water.
think-
I don't need to bid any higher because I have the storehouse and my hand.
Your
the cards in my
hand,
hand say I don't need to bid any higher, and I want to keep him at lower honor.
Fair.
So you know the cards in like the Phoenix's hand are really not what he wants them to be,
Mhm.
and so you want him to like not feel comfortable bidding high.
He's actually sat in a
Because
hurricane
that's going to
punch
do
all
a
game.
lot to if he had a strong conflict hand, that would do a lot to mitigate the randomness of his dynasty flops. And so far, like the flops have been working out well for Scorpion, so I don't see a reason to change that up if you can.
True. Just to reiterate, though, sitting on the hurricane punch all game, I'm kind of curious as to why.
He never
I'm
drew
not-
a monk.
Yeah, I'm not saying it's wrong. Like, what are the monks in the typical list?
Three
Shrine
keeper
Maiden?
initiates. Yeah, 3 keeper initiates, 3 shrine maiden.
That's
Henshin Disciple.
This
I
deck
mean, I guess-
this list does not play Henshin. I can tell you that.
yeah.
Why
I
is he
feel like
letting
the
Erik
hurricane
add-
fist is just
okay.
the wrong choice. Then.
I feel like if you're gonna go for like the Monk Phoenix, you gotta lean
Well,
into it.
It's. I don't think it's the
mean-
monk phoenix though. It is also just a military buff. Like,
I can.
and that there's
I can
something
tell
to be
you-
said
It is.
for it being half of a
But if you
bonsai.
but if you can't play it, it's not a military buff.
I don't think you have to target a monk. I think you only draw the card.
You have to target a monk.
Oh, okay, in that case, fuck that card.
I can tell you right now, the second place Gen Con list played Hurricane Punch and only played 6 monks.
Yeah,
Three-
it
three
played
keeper
one
initiates.
hurricane punch, right?
No, it played multiple Hurricane Punches.
Really?
Yeah.
I see. I
3
guess
Shrine
the
Maiden,
idea is to
3
just get
keeper initiates.
even more value out for keepers. I mean, get keepers
Yeah.
rolling. Did he run Satoshi?
I don't know if we saw Satoshi here, and I don't know.
I get the feeling Travis didn't. He's not.
Yeah, I don't think he did either.
Satoshi's not an aggressive enough card. I am surprised that he ran those, although I can't say that he's wrong because he's Travis and I'm not. So I'll go fuck myself. 2 dishonored characters on board. It's pretty brutal.
Yeah, now I'm looking to start closing the game
Hmm.
by pinging him to death,
Yeah.
which is why I'm dishonoring the Ningyo.
Hmm.
Yep.
Yeah, you're about to get. Well. Hmm.
He does win water here. It's
Sure.
to stand back up. Makes the turn a bit harder.
It does, but like
Again, though, like at this point, you're out of dishonor pressure range, and he hasn't broken anything. Like I doubt you're scared here, right? I had the feeling
No.
you're not too worried about
no,
much of
I'm
anything
thinking
that
like
could
what's the
possibly
Phoenix's
happen.
win con is.
Yeah. I'm
I
thinking
think-
about how I lose right now.
Yeah, and I don't see the world in which you do, especially now that that Prodigy doesn't have a fate on it, the one.
Hmm.
Like there's such a mountain for him to climb right now. He's got 4 cards in hand, and he's gonna be locked into 1 bids.
Oh, this is the saddest shameful display where you've got a
Yeah.
high glory character and nobody to pair it with.
Yeah,
He
this
actually,
is.
I
this
remember
is,
him asking about
right.
that because he didn't realize like it changes
is
the
where-
game state, but you can't actually target the Zokujin in the first place.
where Mike realizes you don't have 2 legal targets.
Mm-hmm.
I ask him if he wants to double block. He says he
You
does,
can't
but then
covert.
he says he does, and we do it, and then realize that he can't because I coverted the other one.
Yep.
Um,
Just quick little
you know.
snafus, no worries. And then the fine katana got hit by Fate Worse than Death here. I think it was a real swing. I'm sorry this happened again. It happened when
it's an
I clicked
unconventional
Discord.
play, but I mean, the entire battlefield is collapsing as a result of it.
Mike.
So it's impactful.
yeah, Mike keeps accidentally clicking the wrong card here.
Yeah, he's old.
It
Give
takes
him-
us a minute to.
give him a little bit.
takes us a minute to get things back to where it's supposed to be. He says he would still block even knowing he couldn't shameful.
Right.
So we go from there.
Which, yeah, I mean, absolutely he would.
Hmm.
I attempt to hammer this shameful display to break it because it has a library on it.
Mm-hmm.
And my 8 strength Zokujin that cannot be targeted by anything he has is just going buck wild over there.
He lost the honor to do it again.
Yeah,
Which is
yep.
kind of weird. Actually, no, he
If he
needed
didn't,
to.
I'd still
He-
be breaking.
Yeah, he needed to. For some reason, I thought he was tying you.
And I casually have another.
Every time, 100% of the time.
Well, you're running a Dishonored Scorpion deck. You've got to assume that at least 50% of the cards in your hand at any given time are going to dishonor something.
Man, if I was running Conquest Scorpion, if that was a thing, I'd run 3-way the Scorpion. That card is insane. It's incredible.
Oh, absolutely. Like the only reason
For a
you
long
wouldn't
time,
run
I was
three
running 2.
It just
is if
wins
you're
some
in like
matchups.
such a heavy Scorpion meta that there's like a significant chance that you're gonna hit the mirror for any given game.
Right. I mean, even then, people still ran it.
I was
you still
playing
run
2 for a
couple of
while.
them. You might not run 3 in like if like half the field is Scorpion.
So at this point, he's got 2 cards in hand, and he's so terrified. One of which is a let go. Or no, he ditched that let go.
Yep.
He's so scared of upholding authority that he still refuses to attack it and gives you secret cash.
But does he think that you're going to banzai his Prodigy just to break upholding? Like,
I mean, regardless, and I want to make it super clear when we do analysis and critique like this, it is in no way meant to disparage the players, because I know Mike is a good player.
obviously not.
But
You
it's
get better
some
by
of these
looking at your
choices.
game and-
I'd like to pick his brain about some of them, because that in particular seemed like a very strange choice.
I throw an Ancient Master down here to tie the favor and just totally bork him.
Yeah, you really outplayed him by
Right.
having that card. It's because you're the competitive player. You drew it, dude.
Well, you know, that card's
And the
stupid.
Hidden Moon Dojo on Pilgrimage. You love to see this kind of thing happen, folks.
He
Tadaka,
gets a,
though, is
he
not
gets a
bad
Tadaka,
here.
like,
Yeah. I mean, he's got no fate now, though.
Tadaka
he's
is
gonna get
live.
the pass. Or no, he's not gonna get the pass. You have Hidden Moon Dojo.
he actually does get the pass, but I remember this and you clearly don't.
Yeah, I wasn't paying attention, dude. I was messing
He gets
with
the
my deck.
pass because my one Shugenja on my flop is not next to Hidden Moon Dojo, and I need to play.
Okay.
Oh,
Yeah.
sure. Gotta turn off Tadaka.
Wow,
You
he
can't
was
let him
just
have-
spamming that
hope.
pass button,
Yeah.
dude. He was so ready.
Slamming it!
He was just praying to any gods above that he gets that fate, dude. Trying to
We
get that
both
display of
two-bid
fairness,
here.
dude.
That makes sense. He's trying to keep your stronghold turned off, and you're trying to keep it turned on.
Yeah.
And then you Kodo him.
I get him down to
anyways.
4. Yeah.
Yeah, it's so
I
obnoxious.
think he
once you
assumed
reach
I
this
would
point in the
1-bid.
game. Yeah.
Right? Which...
Well, I mean, that's what you assumed he assumed, and then you just bid 2.
Sure, sure. Personally, I would have 1-bid, that is.
As a
And
Scorpion?
to be honest- Yeah, because I'm assuming you've got something in your hand like a like that you can bounce to Shadow Shaper,
Mhm.
and you know you just have to not defend one conflict.
Well, the 2-bid here got me the best of both worlds because I got to draw 2 cards and sit.
So
It's more of me calling him out than anything.
here with this
Now
attack.
he's finally attacking Upholding Authority.
Now here's
like,
here's the question this presents to me. Last turn he didn't he would rather have poked into Secret Cache, giving you a proc off Secret Cache, than to poke Upholding Authority while he had less cards in hand than he does now. To just poke
Yep.
Upholding Authority. But this turn he has more cards in hand and he's better breaking it. And that's and he loses 2 copies of whatever that was. Hurricane Punch.
Hurricane Punch.
So
I
you
took
see what I
Hurricane
mean?
Punch,
It was
yeah. And looking back on it, I should not have taken Hurricane Punch. I
Yeah, I don't
got
think
greedy.
he has keepers in discard.
Yeah, because I was like, ooh, I can pick 2 cards. I'll take the
Yeah.
2. But I
That's
should
a
have just
trap
taken
I've
the
noticed
Feral.
a lot of people.
Yeah, for sure.
Yep.
And then I cloud the Tadaka.
Yeah.
Mm.
Because go fuck yourself.
So, to be fair,
Well, I mean, he's
um,
seen no clouds so far. You kind of have to assume.
if you
Yeah,
want to
of course.
pause it for a second.
Yep.
I ran a 1 in 8 chance of him pulling my 1 cloud on the Earth Ring,
Yeah.
Hmm.
It do be that
which
way.
is not. It's not nothing.
It's a non-zero chance, but I mean the odds
but
are in your
I-
favor.
If you want to talk about what's in my hand, I had a Kachiko and a Cunning Magistrate, so I had a couple lines of play if he hit the cloud, or if he hit the Kachiko, or if he hits the Magistrate.
You still have bodies that are just
Sure.
fucking fantastic.
Yeah, I can just not play events that turn.
Right,
Yep.
right.
So you swing with the Zokujin into the Manicure Gardens here. Are you trying to break the library, or are you just going
In a
for
perfect
it
world,
just
I'm
in
breaking the
case?
library because
Right.
he's with the favor.
Mhm.
But
Mm.
I'm kind of expecting him to defend. But again, I expected him to play much more defensively in this game than he does.
Well, I mean, you coverted. You think he's gonna just?
I did
buy
not
the
covert.
meter?
Yeah, he didn't have the Earth Ring here, or he couldn't have even contested it.
Oh, yeah. it's
He's
not in
contesting
this
fire.
conflict. Right.
Just dishonor Tadaka and whatever.
Hmm.
Yeah, so free break there.
He does not.
He
block
chooses to
either.
lose the honor while he's at 4, which is very
Well, the thing about like,
spooky.
so the prodigy is gonna get like 2 uses out of him by attacking Earth here. No, he's not, because he's dishonored. So, he's still 1 political.
He's still one political. He goes for the water ring, and he can at least straighten
Into
him.
shameful.
Right.
Which, I mean, you see the logic of. You can't like.
Yeah, he's
dishonor
already
her
dishonored.
again.
Yeah.
Oh,
Although,
but
but now
now
the
he
Mingyo
plays
gets
in-
dishonored.
Now he's putting himself down to 2 honor
Yep.
because I.
I mean, really
Here-
1 honor on account of like the prodigy's leaving this turn.
Here's the thing. He could have. He could have just swung Pilgrimage there and got the same outcome, because all he
But
needed was
he
to
gets to
claim the
stand as
water.
Tadaka. Well, he gets to stand Tadaka.
Oh, you still have a conflict. You're right. You're right.
Well,
Fair.
sure.
And here, pause it here.
Yep.
I
Oh, yeah, this
accidentally
is the-
fuck up and pass instead of
Luminous.
playing my 1 drop off of
Hmm.
my province. And we talk about it, and it takes us a few minutes to figure out how to get the conflict initiated.
Yeah.
Um,
So I'm gonna forward a little bit. There's not much play left here, but I'm just gonna
Yeah.
go forward like a minute at a time and just see where we start to get some motion in the ocean. Okay, so you get the Court Novice out from Hidden Moon Dojo. There's me fucking up again. There you go. Okay, so it looks like the conflict is initiated now.
We can just talk about what happened anyway. You can just play it.
Yeah.
Okay.
I stay fucking up. Shut up.
I get a political void conflict here I do have the Fate Worse Than Death send home his Tadaka. I void the Tadaka. He dies on cleanup.
Right, right. And you've
And
got the
that's-
fate for it, so I guess
That's it.
it's tough
Yeah.
because if he doesn't defend there, he lives one more turn.
No, he unopposed and won glory at the end.
Right, but
Yep.
you already got the unopposed, so he's at 3 now. He's
At 2.
He's at 2 right now.
He gets unopposed,
He lost
goes
an
to
honor
1,
from
and
Ningyo.
then
The Ningyo brought him
Oh,
to
the
2.
Ningyo, right.
the Ningyo play there was very strange.
Ah,
I think it was just a matter of
I mean, he had to go all in.
right. Well, I think it was just
sure, he
not
was
thinking
in a
fully
desperate
ahead.
Situation.
Like I think it might have been a misplay, but I'm not sure. I can't speak for him.
He's so deep in the hole, he's got to try it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Maybe you'll just forget what Shameful Display does when you're playing Scorpion. Right? I mean, but yeah, the Fate Worse Than Death here seals it without a let go to get the cloud off Tadaka. Then you're just, I mean, that's game.
Yeah.
And that's, yeah.
So what do you think about the matchup overall?
I think that going in blind, Scorpion is heavily favored just because
When you say heavily, name a percent.
percentage-wise,
Yeah.
I want to say pre-elemental cycle,
Ooh.
it's
Now let's talk right now.
like 70 to 80. But like Phoenix got they got Kipu of Air, no, that was Train. They got Seeker of
Seeker of
Air
Air.
in the right. So I think if you've
Both decks are viable though, Keeper and Seeker.
sure,
Yeah, surprisingly
sure,
so.
But so my opinion, like as not a Phoenix player,
Right.
is that Scorpion, like despite being on decline, like compared to where they were last cycle, is still prevalent enough that I think you want to go Seeker of Air specifically to splash Soul Beyond Reproach.
Yeah.
And I mean that means giving up
Well,
Hawk Tattoo,
It's
and you know, Dragon Splash is great.
It means giving up
Exactly.
let go, which is way more.
it's a matter
does,
of gauging
why
whether
am I-
you feel as the
But
Phoenix
you've got-
player that the
Like you
Scorpion
can't get
matchup
away
is
from
so
your
bad.
glory stat as a Phoenix player. And I feel
Absolutely.
like that's the card that takes that like massive weakness and turns it into an advantage.
Well, it's like, do you risk? It's a game of numbers, which is something I always say. But you splash Soul Beyond Approach, and suddenly your Scorpion matchup is noticeably much better.
For sure.
But you sacrifice the versatility and the sheer just disturbing power level of the Dragon Splash in every other matchup, including
That's
Scorpion
true,
matchup. It's
but
not
like
bad in
every
Scorpion
matchup runs Dishonor to an extent, though.
It does. It's just I feel again like it's still just evaluating that. I'm not saying it's correct or incorrect to run the Crane Splash. I'm
Every
just saying
matchup-
it's based on you as a player to determine how you feel strengthening one matchup at the possible expense of others.
Every
That's
matchup has something
absolutely
that can be
true.
let go'd.
Yeah, that as
I'm-
well.
If he had a let
like-
go. If he had a let go here, he doesn't lose.
Like
Well-
I think the only matchup
Yeah.
that doesn't really have let go targets is very specifically Yoshi Storm Crane.
For sure.
And that's fallen more out of favor almost purely because I wouldn't even say it's fallen
Hawk
out
Tattoo.
of favor, but Hawk Tattoo, and you're not gonna let go Hawk Tattoo.
Yeah, Hawk
most
Tattoo's
cranes
not-
aren't
I
running
mean-
Fantana, but I mean it's still nice to have in the off chance you run into somebody who does. But again,
Sure.
like that's the only potential dead matchup. In Scorpion, you'll at least be able to let go the clouds. Every other clan except Lion can run clouds, but Lion runs other attachments.
So, I will admit that my perspective on Phoenix is biased by the fact that when I see Phoenix, they're probably playing against Scorpion. But like the way I see it, if you're not splashing Soul Beyond Reproach, or you know maybe there's other honor solutions that aren't occurring to me. But if you don't have that, like he
You
didn't
lose.
literally lose when you sat down, but he pretty much lost when you sat
Well,
down.
It's like
I disagree with that, but
I mean there's the idea, and it's factual. Like if you are an amazing player, you'll beat players who are not as amazing as you. But I do think that the Scorpion versus Phoenix matchup in many ways can be so brutal on the Phoenix player's side. Like, it just hurts. Unless they get
No,
the
I
God
think
flop and
it's-
the Scorpion gets a terrible flop. Like, you have
So
to
I
expect
think-
variance. Or pray for
Like
variance.
you do, but I think all things considered,
I-
this is probably the most one-sided matchup like in the game right now.
Oh,
Like,
I'd
I
put
don't
it
think
at-
Phoenix is the worst plan.
I'd
And I
put it
don't think
60 to
Scorpion-
65% in the
I
Scorpion.
think
favor.
65-35
Really?
Scorpion. Yeah.
I think it's got to be at least 70.
It could approach that, but I think not to get too in depth on other matchups, but I think saying this is the worst matchup in the game is I think that's wrong. I might be incorrect, but I think the worst matchups in the game are like Dragon Lion for Lion, or like Dragon
I
Crab
disagree
for
because
Crab.
I think even with Dragon Lion, like Lion's a deck that can high roll.
That's I mean
and-
that's fair enough, but at what point are you praying for variance and accepting a loss otherwise?
Well, I mean, you're playing Lion. So I think so I want to.
Derek is screaming somewhere.
Yeah. You woke up in a
Yeah.
cold sweat just now.
Sure, but like the intensity of like the favorability of Dragon versus Lion in that matchup, I think is comparable to Scorpion Phoenix. The difference being that sometimes Lion is just gonna hit just the flop you need, dodge Restoration of Balance, and then overwhelm the Dragon. And that will never happen with Phoenix into Scorpion.
Right.
I
I
agree.
mean, it helps that Seeker of Void is just incredible. It's so hard to attack anything, and you saw it there.
Well, that's
It even gave him like the analysis paralysis shit people talk about. Like there was
That's
so
also-
much that it was shitty to attack.
also
Hmm.
indicative of a deck that relies on its conflict deck to gain an advantage in a game. Deck that relies on Dynasty deck to gain advantage in a game because one is much more volatile than the other.
Yeah.
It is, especially like running libraries. Like drawing codes is awesome, but it also clogs up your dynasty dudes.
Oh, I was talking about a dragon or a lion deck versus a scorpion deck
Right.
Oh, for sure.
because I get to draw 5 conflict cards a turn.
Mm-hmm.
You
Well,
know,
that's
and-
why Lion is it's a Koto's casino. You know, like you either get your amazing flops or you don't, and it's like that in many ways.
Of course.
I mean, this game, period.
We'll
Except
have a lion
for
game
few
soon,
exceptions.
hopefully, and we can
Yeah.
bring in some lion players to talk about this. But
Yeah, we'll bring in
Sure.
Derek, and he's gonna just be sad and mad and cool.
Come on, let's
He's a
not
cool
poison
guy,
the
but he's
well.
sad and mad.
Derek
about
is
being
gonna
Lion.
come in and he's gonna have and it's just gonna
We're gonna
turn his
bring
whole
in.
perspective on his clan around.
We're gonna bring in Emery and Derek for the same episode, so they can just have a
No.
fucking battle to the death about their
God.
clans and complaining.
all right, that's
I'm
it
not
for this
talking
one,
shit,
guys.
but yeah, that's it for this. Thank you for sticking with us for as long as
Okay.
you ranted.
Thanks
Cool.
for having me, guys.
Yeah,
Thanks for being with us.
Thanks for coming in.